Magandang buhay sa inyo mga students, lalo na sa aking mga students sa San Antonio National High School, Parañaque. Nandito na naman ang inyong Sir Elmar at ako ang inyong makakasama ngayon sa inyong pag-aaral dito sa YouTube. Kaya welcome na welcome kayo dito sa aking YouTube channel. Okay, so ngayon, sa oras na ito, tatalakayin natin ang pinakaunang lesson ninyo sa Math 9, which is to illustrate quadratic equations. Alright, so let us state our objectives. We have, number 1, the learner is able to describe and identify quadratic equations. Number 2, the learner is able to write quadratic equation into standard form. And number 3, the learner is able to identify the values of A, B, and C respectively of a quadratic equation in standard form. So students, just keep on watching, enjoy learning, learn more, aim high. Alright, welcome back students. So now let us start with our lesson. So to begin with, we have to recall your previous knowledge, or let us check your prior knowledge or stock knowledge when you were in grade 7 and grade 8, or what I mean the lesson you've learned while you were in grade 8 and grade 7. So the question is, what is linear equation? Okay? So linear equation ay naituro na sa inyo nung kayo nasa grade 7 and grade 8. So let us try to refresh, no? Okay, so let us give the definition of linear equation. A linear equation is any equation that can be written in the form ax plus by plus c equals 0. So where a, b, and c are real numbers. Okay, so the variables there are x and y. No? Next, linear equations are also called first-degree equations, as the highest power or exponent of the variable is 1. And yung 1 na yun ay hindi natin siyang nakikita or makikita. Invisible siya. No? So, for examples, number 1, 2x plus 5y minus 3 equals 0. So, ang napapansin ninyo sa given or example number 1, meron tayong dalawang variables, x and y. May nakikita ba kayong exponent? Wala. So, ibig sabihin, the exponent of x and y is 1. Okay? Next, number 2, we have x plus 9 equals 15. So, isang variable na lang sa number 2, no? Which is x. So, unlike number 1, meron tayong dalawang variables, x and y. Okay? So, sa number 2 naman, yung x natin, wala din tayo nakikitang exponent. So, ibig sabihin, the exponent is 1. Okay? So, that is an example of linear equation. So, I hope na-refresh kayo ng konti, no, with linear equation. So, let us proceed. On the space provided before each number, write LE if the given is linear equation and LE if not. Okay, let us start with number 1. 2x plus 3y equals 4. So observe, in number 1, we have two variables, x and y. Okay, at ano-ano ba yung exponent nila? May nakita ba tayo o wala? Kapag wala tayong makita ang exponent ng variable, ibig sabihin, 1 ang exponent nun. Okay? So, the answer for number 1 is LE as linear equation. Next, number 2. 3x is less than 5. Okay? So, when we say equation, the symbol must be equality symbol. So, number 2 is NLE. Why? Number 2 is an example of linear inequality. Next, number 3. 3x squared minus 2x minus 4 equals 0. Now, pansinin nyo, isang variable lang ang meron tayo, x. Pero, ano ang pinakamataas na exponent or power ng variable? Okay, so 2. So, ibig sabihin nun, hindi siya linear. So, that is NLE. Next, number 4. Negative y equals 4. Okay? So, what do you think? Linear equation or not linear equation? So, the variable is negative or y. Again, the variable is y. But what is the highest exponent? Invisible one. So, that is linear equation or LE. Next, number 5. X plus 3y is less than or equal to 0. So, now, number 5 is also an example of linear inequality. So, therefore, this is NLE. Okay? So, ganun lang naman yung tandaan ninyo guys kapag equation equality symbol. And then, when we are talking about linear, the highest power or exponent of a variable or variables is 1. Okay? So, now let us understand our lesson 1 in Math 9, which is illustrating quadratic equation. Okay? So, the question is, what is quadratic equation? So, ano nga ba ang tinatawag nating quadratic equation? Okay? So, by definition, we have in algebra, a quadratic equation came from Latin word quadratus for square. Is any equation in one variable of degree 2. Now, so here in quadratic equation, we are only dealing with one variable, pero ang highest exponent or power niya ay 2. Okay? And then we will read it as square. Okay? Next. In other words, quadratic equation is a second degree equation. Now, kung ang linear equation ay first degree equation, ang quadratic equation naman ay second degree equation. So, that's the definition of quadratic equation. Continue. We have to identify whether the equation is a quadratic or not. So, we give the definition of a quadratic equation a while ago. So, let us try if you understand the definition. Number 1, we have x squared minus 5x plus 3 equals 0. The variable is x. And we have the highest power or exponent of 2. So, what do you think? Quadratic or not? Okay, so number 1 is very good, quadratic. Okay, so dahil 2 lang yung highest power or exponent. Next, number 2. X cubed minus 7x plus 9 equals 0. Now, observe, yung variable natin ay x pa rin, pero ang highest exponent niya or power ay 3. So, quadratic pa rin ba siya or hindi? Okay, so the answer is not quadratic. Next, number 3, we have 2x equals x minus 1. Okay, so x, ano ang exponent? Okay, so the other quantity or the other x is on the right side of the equation. Okay, so probably we are going to transpose it to the left side or vice versa, no? So, what will happen? Pag i-transpose ba natin yon ay magiging x squared siya? O hindi? Okay, so hindi, no? So, the answer number 3 is not quadratic. Okay, so si number 3 ay linear. Okay? While si number 2 naman, dahil 3 yung highest power niya, tatawag siyang cubic equation. Next, number 4, we have the quantity of x plus 4 times quantity of x minus 3 equals 0. So, ito, alam ko, familiar kayo dito. At kapag i-multiply natin yung dalawang binomial na to, magkakaroon tayo ng x squared. Okay, so therefore, number 4 is an example of quadratic equation. Pero, naka-factored form lang siya. Okay? So, I hope by definition, alam nyo na kung paano i-identify ang quadratic equation. Next, we have quadratic equation can be written in different forms. So, ito yung mga examples or other examples ng ating quadratic equations, pero sinulat siya in different forms. So, let's have this. Number 1, x squared equals 0. So, lagi ninyong tingnan na yung variable natin ay iisa lang, and then the highest power or exponent is 2. Next, we have x squared equals 4. Okay? Next, number 3, 2x squared plus 3 equals 0. Number 4, x squared minus 3x plus 4 equals 0. Okay? Next, number 5, 3x squared plus 4 equals 3x. And number 6, we have quantity of 2x plus 5 times the quantity of 3x minus 2 equals 0. So again, all of our given are examples of quadratic equations but written in different forms. Okay? So now, since we have different forms of a quadratic equation, we have this one form that is commonly used in a quadratic equation. And we have this standard form of quadratic equation. Pero ano nga ba ang standard form ng ating quadratic equation? Okay? The standard form of a quadratic equation is ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Where x represents the unknown. Okay? Pag sinabing unknown, ito yung hindi natin alam kung ano yung value unless is-solve natin. And a, b, and c are real numbers. And a is not equal to 0. Bakit? Okay? So if a is equal to 0, then the equation is linear, not quadratic, as there is no ax squared term. Okay? So, ganito yun, students. In ax squared, ibig sabihin nun, or nanggaling yun siya sa a times x squared. So, kapag ang value ng a ay 0, at yung 0 na yun ay i-multiply natin sa x squared, ang sagot ay 0. So, therefore, ang ax squared ay magiging 0 at hindi na natin siya kailangang isulat sa ating equation. So, ano na lang ang matira? Okay? So, ang natira na lang ay bx plus c equals 0. And that is linear equation with variable x na may exponent na 1. Okay? So, ganon ang inyong tandaan that the value of a is not equal to 0. So, we have this examples of quadratic equation in standard form. Number 1, x squared minus 3x plus 2 equals 0. Okay? So, pansinin ninyo, meron tayo dyang tatlong terms sa ating sa left side ng ating equation. At sa kanan ay 0, equal to 0. Next, number 2, we have x squared minus 4 equals 0. So, yung kanan natin, 0 pa rin, equal to 0. And then, ang kaliwang side naman natin, x squared minus 4, ay dalawang term or terms na lang. Okay? Next, number 3, we have 2x squared plus 5x equals 0. So, seal, yung kanan ay 0, equal to 0. Ang left side natin, yung mga terms sa left side, so dalawa pa rin, no? 2 terms. And number 4, we have x squared equals 0. So, lahat, or what I mean, yung kanan din ng number 4, the right side, of the equation in number 4 is also 0. At ang nasa kaliwa naman ay x squared. Iisang term lang, no? Pero, pansinin ninyo, students, all of the equations are equated into 0. Okay? So, ibig sabihin nun, students, the standard form of a quadratic equation is always equated into 0. Okay? Next. From the given examples, we can deduce that both or either B or C is 0 but not A. So, ibig sabihin, class, or students, pwede na dalawa, yung B and C, ang value nila ay 0. Or isa sa kanila ay 0. No? Wag lang ang value ni A magiging 0. In the equation, ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So, tandaan ninyo ito palagi, students, that ax squared is called the quadratic term. Yan. Next, yung bx natin ay tinatawag na linear term. Dahil yung highest power or exponent ng x ay 1. While sa isa naman itong ax squared, yung exponent highest power, no, is 2. So, quadratic siya. Ang isa naman, bx, linear term. And, c stands for the constant term. So, ito yung term na walang kasamang variable or walang katabing variable. No? So, number lang siya. Okay? At lagi ninyong tandaan, palagi siyang na-equate into 0. So, that is our standard form again of the quadratic equation. And, remember, students, yung A natin or value ng A ay matatagpuan palagi sa ating quadratic term. So, katabi siya ng x squared. Ang value naman ng B ay katabi siya sa x. Okay, so nasa linear term. And then again, yung constant term natin ay itong number na walang kasamang variable. Okay? So we have another examples of quadratic equations in standard form. And let us identify the value of A, B, and C. Alright. So we have number 1. X squared plus 6x minus 10 equals 0. So, ano nga ba ang value ng A, B, and C? So, again, yung A natin ay katabi siya ng x squared. Yung B natin ay katabi ng x. At yung C natin, ito yung number. No? Wala siyang kasamang variable or the term without a variable. Now, always consider the sign. Okay? So, palaging i-indicate ang sign. Huwag kalimutan, ha? So, yung A natin ay, okay, 1. Yung B natin ay 6. Yung C natin ay negative 10. Okay? So, kapag wala tayong in-attach na sign, ibig sabihin nun positive siya. Like 1 and 6, positive 1 and positive 6. Pero napaka-importante yung negative. Kasi kapag hindi mo sinasabi or hindi mo in-indicate yung negative, magiging positive yung number. Okay, next. Number 2, 3x squared minus 7x minus 15 equals 0. Alright? What is the value of A? Okay, good. The value of A is 3. Ano ang magiging, or ano ang value ng B? Okay? So, value ng B ay negative 7. Ang value ng C ay negative 15. Okay, very good. Next, okay? This is a continuation. Pero ang equations naman na ito, or ang quadratic equations na ito, ay walang bx or c term or both. No? Wala. Walang linear term and constant term or isa sa kanila ang wala. And then, i-identify natin ang value ng A, B, and C. Depende kung ano yung natira, no? So, example number 1, x squared minus 16 equals 0. Okay, so let us first identify ano lang ba yung present terms, no? So, in number 1, the present terms are the quadratic term, and the, yes, the constant term. Very good. So, ibig sabihin, wala tayong linear term. Okay? So, ibig sabihin nun, ano ang value ng b natin? The value of b is 0. Next. So, yung a natin dito ay 1. And our c is negative 16. Okay? Next number. Ayan, no? Yung b natin ay 0. Next, number 2, we have 3x squared minus 21x equals 0. So, ano-ano lang ang terms na meron tayo? We have the quadratic term and then the linear term. So, ibig sabihin, wala tayong constant term. So, ibig sabihin, yung value ng c ay 0. What would be the value of a? A is 3 and b is negative 21. Again, c is 0. Next, number 3, x squared equals 0. So, ano lang ang term na meron tayo? Quadratic term only. So, ibig sabihin, wala tayong linear term at wala din tayong constant term. Okay? Both are lacking or missing. Wala. So, therefore, ang value ng a ay 1. While the value of c and b are 0. Okay? Take note, students. A quadratic equation lacking the linear term, constant term, or both is called incomplete quadratic equation. Ayan. Okay? At tandaan nyo rin na students, itong variable, no, na walang makikitang numerical coefficient, meron yan siyang 1 as numerical coefficient. Like sa number 1 and number 3. Okay? So, beside x squared, wala tayong nakitang number. Okay? Or numerical value. Pero meron yun siya, which is 1. Hindi lang natin siya sinusulat. Okay? So, sana klaro yan sa inyo students. And, this is the discussion of how to illustrate quadratic equation. No? So, the next part of this lesson is to write or express quadratic equation into standard form. So, don't forget to watch the part 2 of this video lesson. Thank you for watching.